Good afternoon and welcome to Cougar Field, aka the Thunderdome, for today's makeup game between your Concordia University Chicago Cougars and the rival Concordia University Wisconsin Falcons. Peter Borkowski here on the Cougar Sports Network, joined by Parker Kelly. This game is a makeup from Game 2 that was originally scheduled on April 22nd. That doubleheader turned into a single game because of inclement weather here in River Forest. And Parker, let's start with a little bit of a review of that game. It was a really solid win for the Cougars. Took care of the Falcons 10-5. Weston Stutzman got the win for CUC. It was a home run party for the Cougars as well. Tyler Dorsch, Gary Maynard, and Brandon Mahler all hit one, and then Michael Kasich hit 2 home runs, had himself a 5 RBI day. And against a Concordia, Wisconsin team that's sitting at the top of the NAC standings, as they are currently placed number 3 in the conference. That was a really good win for a Cougars team who needs a couple wins here at the end of the season if they want to sneak into that postseason.
Absolutely. This game is going to be very instrumental in regards to seeding for the conference tournament. The Falcons coming in as the 3 seed, the Cougars sitting at 9th. Just talking to Coach Connor today, he was talking about how his team needs to go on a run. The Cougars are coming off of a great doubleheader versus Benedictine University, who is the 2nd-ranked team in the conference. A win today would be huge.
Well, the Cougars, like Parker mentioned, seen at 9 right now. The last playoff seed is the 6th seed. That's currently held by the Illinois Institute of Technology, who sit 10-8 in conference play. At 7 is Marion. They're 9-9. Cougars will see Marion at Marion on Thursday, and then Rockford sitting 1 spot above CUC at 9-9 as well. Cougars, they'll see the Regents tomorrow right here in River Forest for a makeup from this past Sunday's doubleheader that was supposed to be here in River Forest against Rockford. But for now, they got the rival Concordia to worry about here in River Forest. And on the mound, starting for the Cougars, is number 51, Wyatt McLaughlin, the junior. 2-4 on the season in his 38 2/3 of an innings pitched, an 8.61 ERA in his 8 appearances, all of which have been starts. So McLaughlin getting the start for the Cougars, the 6'2 righty. His first pitch is in there for strike 1, and we are underway. First pitch at 2:59. A chillier day here in River Forest. Total overcast from the clouds as temperature sitting at 52 degrees. The 0-1 is in there for strike number 2. It's to the leadoff hitter for CUW, Johannes Hawkinson, the starting center fielder. And that's in there for strike 3. What a start for Wyatt McLaughlin. 3-pitch strikeout gets Hawkinson going down looking. And Parker, you can't ask for a much better start from your starter than what we saw there.
You can't ask for a better start. That's absolutely correct. He's been a part of this program for 4 years, and he gets the start today versus the 3rd-ranked team in the conference. Cougars needing to go on a run. You can't ask for a better start from him.
Ball 1 thrown to Danny Hahn, the shortstop. First ball McLaughlin has thrown today as he gets set. The 1-0. Contact made. Tyler Crater at third. Scoops it up. Fires across the diamond for out number 2.
This Cougars defense has really come to play already here. 2 quick outs here in the top of the first. Be looking to carry this momentum throughout the rest of the game.
Batting third, the right
Cougars
number 8,
defense
Sean
ranked 6th in the conference in terms of fielding percentage at .956. They are 4th in double plays turned with 21, so a nice statistic there to hang their hat on, as that's a strike thrown to Sean Tillman, the right fielder. Tillman on the year, a .385 hitter. And as he makes contact with this one. Coming in is Jaime Sandoval, and he throws it to first in time for the out. 1-2-3 inning from White McLaughlin and the Cougars. We're going to head to the bottom of the first. We are still scoreless here in River Forest. Back here in River Forest, bottom of the first, about to get started here. Cougars up to bat for the first time today, and they'll be taking on the CUW starter, number 41, Tyler Bartzak, a 6-foot freshman out of Crestwood, Illinois. Also listed as a right fielder on the CUW roster on the season. Bartzak, 22 2/3 of an innings pitched, rocking a 4.37 ERA. Currently sitting at 3-1 record-wise. And Parker, he's going up against a Cougars lineup that there are some heavy hitters in this lineup, to put it gently. This is one of the better hitting lineups in the NAC Conference. They rank nationally in a couple of stats as well. It's one of those lineups that you're not going to get a break against batters number 1 through 9.
Especially when Christian Jacob is leading off for the Cougars, comes into today with a .379 batting average. He's been a very instrumental piece as far as this Cougars offense is concerned. He's going to get going right here.
Well, he takes a hack at the first pitch. This one going foul. No play can be made. So 0-1 count now on the Cougars' second baseman. A senior out of Scottsdale, Arizona. That one is high, bounces off the glove of the CUW catcher, Fike. Dylan Fike, a Oak Lawn native. Not too far, about an hour south of CUC, as there's a swinging strike. 1-2 count now on Jacob. Bartzak gets the signs from his senior catcher. The next pitch. And here's a hit in the center field, lead-off single for Christian Jacob. And Parker, you mentioned that that's exactly what the Cougars want to see out of Christian Jacob, and that's what he brings to the table as their leadoff hitter.
It was a nice hit right there from Jacob, right over the head of the shortstop and getting down on the ground, and that's exactly how you want to start out on offense for the Cougars.
Well, now we enter really the heart of this Cougars lineup with the number 2 hitter, Tyler Dorsch, and what a season the sophomore's been having. Parker ranks towards the top of the NAC and quite a few statistics as well. Nationally, he's up there in some as well. I mean, him and then the next 2 batters have really been, like I said, the heart of this Cougars lineup offensively.
Yeah, and Dorsch coming in with that .432 batting average, which ranks 4th in the NAC.
As Jacob takes off for second, the throw is off the line, so Jacob will slide in safely. A stolen base for Christian Jacob. As the count is 1-1 on Dorsch. That's something else that Jacob really brings to the plate in terms of his offensive skills, Parker, is his base running. I mean, he gets the single, the leadoff single, but then he's able to get himself into scoring position using his base running.
And that's just part of his twitchiness, his speed. That's his 14th stolen base on the year, which actually leads the team. He's been doing this all season long.
Another ball thrown to Tyler Dorsch, 2-1 now. On the left fielder for the Cougars, leads the team in batting average at .432 as this one misses as well. 3-1 count now. Dorsch also leads the team in on-base plus slugging with his 1189 mark. One of 4 eligible Cougars as this one misses for ball 4. Dorsch takes his base. Dorsch, one of 4 eligible Cougar stats-wise to have an above 1,000 OPS. And here's another one in Gary Maynard. And Parker, Maynard's really taken control of this Cougars lineup this year. He's currently second on the team in RBIs with 38, leads the team in home runs with 9. And when you got guys like Dorsch and Jacob who can get on base in front of him, that's what leads to a lot of those run-scoring opportunities.
Yeah, Maynard's been great all year, but I kind of want to flip the conversation to Bartzak, who's on the mound for the Falcons. He's come in with a 3-1 record. He's been good for this team all year. Looking a little shaky to start after allowing a hit from Jacob and then walking Dorsch. He's looking a little bit shaky. He might want to fix that.
0-1 after the foul tip to Gary Maynard. Cougars wearing their home pinstripe uniforms as Maynard takes a big swing at that one for strike 2. Meanwhile, CUW wearing their traveling all gray uniforms, blue stripe going down the side of the pants, and then their blue caps for the day as Maynard gets set for the 0-2. The pitch just misses. Maynard will stay alive to see another pitch here. 1-2 now. Bartzak gets set, checks the runner at second. The pitch upstairs for ball 2. I mean, we're seeing the effect Maynard's power can have here, Parker. I mean, Bartzak got an 0-2 count on him, and he hasn't really gone after him since then. He's had a little leeway to play, but he's trying to get Maynard to chase, but the senior using his eye well here, avoiding that strikeout so far.
Yeah, he's one of the more powerful hitters on this team, but he also has a good eye as well, and that's where his senior leadership comes into play. He's experienced, so he knows when to swing at the ball and when not to.
That one fouled back, so you'll get another chance here against Bartzak. Michael Kasich on deck for the Cougars. Bartzak, the 2-2. Contact is made right past the umpire. They're going to throw to third to get Jacob out, so Maynard hits himself into a fielder's choice. He'll reach first while Jacob thrown out at third. And now that'll bring up Michael Kasich. And I think Parker Kasich's had one of the biggest season-to-season growths or even changes we've seen of this Cougars lineup. I mean, this was a player who last year he had 12 at-bats as a freshman. And now, I mean, you can go over some of the statistic, Parkers, as he takes ball 1 there. Kasich has turned into an absolutely hitting machine after initially coming to CUC as a pitcher.
Yeah, the leap he's taken from year 1 to year 2 is phenomenal. Second on the team in batting average with .390, which is 13th in the NAC. He's hit 8 home runs, and he has 137 at-bats. His growth and his jump from year 1 to year 2, again, has been phenomenal.
Well, in that game against CUW about 2 weeks ago, a little over 2 weeks ago, Kasich hit 2 home runs, totaled 5 RBIs on 4 hits. And That is not an uncommon stat line to see from the sophomore as he holds off that one for ball 2. He's part of a Cougars lineup that ranks 4th in the conference in batting average at .325 and 4th in runs scored at .281. Now Bardzak's going to take time here. Starting to see him settle into a bit of a groove here after a rough start to Jacob, and Dorsch gets Maynard to hit into a fielder's choice. Still has a runner in scoring position to worry about as the 2-1 is swung on and foul tipped. Still lands in the glove of Fike, and now it'll be an even count at 2-2 on Kasich.
We're definitely seeing Bartzak start to catch his groove a little bit, and sometimes that's what it takes. Sometimes it just takes a little bit of a shaky start for you to find your groove. We see Bartzak is starting to feel that more now.
The 2-2. This one popped up into right field. Dorsch staying on second. Now he's going to take off for third, and there's going to be no play at third. Dorsch slides in head first, safe.
Really smart decision right there from Dorsch after the pop fly was hit up into right field. Dorsch knew he had a lot of room to work with, and he took off for third base. Again, smart move by Dorsch.
So runners in the corners now, 2 outs after the Kasich fly out. Gary Maynard still on first, and that'll bring up the freshman catcher Brandon Mahler. Mahler having himself a nice first-year campaign as part of a catcher's rotation. The Cougars have been using .364 average as he swings at the first pitch and fouls it straight back. He's played in 21 games, started in 19 so far. And on the season, he's got himself 25 RBIs and a prime opportunity to add another one here.
Yeah, we were just talking about how Kasich is putting up the numbers that he is as a sophomore, but we need to talk more about Mahler coming in with that the 3.64 batting average, and he's been influential on both sides of the ball. And again, he's doing all this as a freshman. The Cougars will have him for another 3 years, and I know head coach Colin Connor is excited about that.
The 0-1 low and away, so 1-1 the count now on one of the Mahler twins, Brandon's twin Jake, also on the CUC roster. Listed as a third baseman. Has seen some time this year as Maynard's going to take off for second, and the throw is cut off before it can reach the bag by Ajiniga.
And we see the Cougars are starting out aggressive. So far, 2 stolen bases, and this is the approach they want to take. They know how good CUW is, but they're not afraid to be aggressive.
So 2 runners in scoring position now for Brandon Mahler. The 2-1, that one is high. Mahler took a hack at it, and he's thought it was strike 3. Instead, it was just strike 2. That would have also been out number 3. So after the mental slip, Mahler back in the batter's box. 2-2 count against another freshman, and Bartzak on the mound. The pitch, contact made, popped up, drifting foul. That one lands on top of the locker room building, so we'll get another 2-2 coming up. Maynard on second, Tyler Dorsch on third. And here's the 2-2 from Bartzak, and that almost hits Mahler. That one was up high, too. Mahler able to lean back out of the way of that one. That could have been a nasty hit if he didn't.
A few more inches, and that does hit Mahler.
And now full count. Bartzak delivers, swing and A foul tip. So Mahler just stays alive. Julio Cajigas on deck if Mahler can reach safely. And here's the 3-2 swing and a miss, strike 3. So Bartzak lets the first 2 hitters on safely. Gary Maynard hits into a fielder's choice, and then a flyout and a strikeout gets the Falcons out of the inning. No damage done. We're going to head to the second. Wyatt McLaughlin back on the mound. Still scoreless here between the Cougars and the Falcons. So leading off the second, it'll be the first baseman, Tristan Largent. Falcons going back to work against Wyatt McLaughlin, who throws a ball on the first pitch of the inning, but Parker McLaughlin threw about as clean as the first inning as you can get. 3-pitch strikeout on the leadoff hitter, and then two-pitch groundouts as this one, a high pop fly into center field as Eli Hickman comes over and makes the grab for out number 1. But there again, Parker, another very efficient out from McLaughlin. Just took 2 pitches to get Largent out. He's been doing some quick work here.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say, I'd like to see how McLaughlin responds and this entire Cougar defense responds after that phenomenal first inning. So far, they're off to a great start with that 2-pitch quick out.
So after Largent flies out, Kyle Flynn at the plate now, 1-0. Flynn on the season, a .308 hitter, as the sophomore takes a ball inside there. Played in 31 games so far. As he takes ball 3 there, now 3-0 count. Parker, this is the first batter we've really seen McLaughlin struggle with today, as he's been ahead of almost every other batter, gets him out in 2 or less pitches except the strikeout is. That one is in there for a strike, 3-1 now, but first challenge we've really seen of the day for McLaughlin.
Yeah, this has been the first challenge, but McLaughlin's been here for 4 years. He knows how to handle situations like this. He's not going to let one walk get to him.
Well, there is the walk as Kyle Flynn, first base runner of the day for CUW, and now that'll bring up the designated hitter, Jimmy Jurgensen. Jurgensen, a junior from Cedarburg, Wisconsin, 331 average in 31 games played. 42 hits in his 127 at-bats as he takes ball one. First CUW batter working with a runner on the base paths today. That one's outside as well. 2-0 count now on Jurgensen.
Jurgensen leads this Falcons team in the home run category with 5. McLaughlin's going to have to be real careful with this batter.
So he checks first base before the next pitch. Flynn slides in safely. As the 2-0 in there for a strike. Another pickoff attempt here. Flynn avoids that one as well.
McLaughlin really keeping a close eye on Flynn at first base.
Next pitch out. They give it to him. It is a strike. That one looked outside the strike zone, but home plate umpire Mike Slowinski gives McLaughlin the call. Now chance with the strikeout as this is a grounder hit right back to the mound. The throw to first. It's off the bag, so reaching safely will be Jurgensen.
McLaughlin, that ball rolled straight into the mound. Just wasn't able to quite pick it up and get it over to Kasich in first base in time.
Batting seventh, the left fielder, number 38, Matt Miller.
So Matt Miller up to the plate now. Runners at first and second, just one out. Jurgensen officially given a infield single as Flynn advances to second. Now the first pitch to Miller isn't able to work its way into the zone. 1-0 count. Miller, another freshman getting the start on the CUW squad. 350 hitter as he looks at ball two there.
This is not the same pitching we saw from McLaughlin from that first inning to the second inning. He's struggling a little bit, especially as this inning has progressed. He's going to have to kind of settle down a little bit. He's been a little rattled by the walked batter.
That one.
The hit he gave up earlier.
That one's inside. 3-0 count now. Josh Ajinaga on deck, and then Dylan Fike in the hole as there's strike one. And then after Fike, back to the top of the CUW lineup. McLaughlin's hoping we don't get there this inning as there's a swinging foul ball. So a full count now. Good job by McLaughlin to work himself to a full count. Gets the signs from Brandon Mahler. McLaughlin gets set now. And the pitch in there for strike three. Huge strikeout from Wyatt McLaughlin, his second of the day. And Parker, after a rough couple batters, that's a big, easy way for McLaughlin to get back on track here.
Absolutely, and excellent response from McLaughlin after going down 3-0, battling all the way back and getting his second strikeout of the day. That was an excellent response right there from McLaughlin.
So with 2 outs now, it's the number 8 hitter, Josh Ajiniga, as he takes the first pitch away for ball 1. Ajiniga, a .403 hitter, just 18 games played, so limited sample size, as that pitch is in there for a strike. Runner still at first and second. As the 1-1 swung on and missed, 1 and 2 now. McLaughlin hunting his third strikeout of the day, trying to get out of this inning. As the 1-2 just getting a piece of it is Ajiniga, so he'll stay alive. At least one more pitch here. Count still at 1 and 2. Mahler delivers the signs. His battery partner for the day. McLaughlin gets himself set, delivers, swung on and missed. Mahler drops it, throw it down to Kasich at first for the out, and that'll do it. 2 strikeouts to end the inning for Wyatt McLaughlin, and we are going to head to the bottom of the second. Falcons leave a pair on the base path. Cougars come out of it, still tied 0-0. You're watching the Cougars Sports Network. Cougars back up to bat. Julio Cajigas will start things off here in the bottom of the second. But Parker, we're talking about it in between innings, how impressive this Cougars defense and Wyatt McLaughlin in particular has been so far for the Cougars. Struggled a little bit in that last inning with the walk and then the infield hit to Jurgensen. But other than those 2 slip-ups, he's looked incredibly impressive so far.
Yeah, him and this entire Cougars defense has looked very impressive through 2 innings. Despite not getting the quick 3 outs that we saw in that first inning, they were able to get 3 outs in the second. It's all that mattered. Got off the field a little bit slower, however. And what's really impressive is they've allowed this Falcons team to only get 1 hit through 2 innings. And coming into today, the Falcons were the second-ranked team in the conference in batting average with a .333. And the Cougars defense has been on point through 2 innings.
So Cougars offense, as there's a single roped into left field. Cajigas is going to put on the brakes, head back into first. Julio Cajigas gets himself a leadoff single here in the bottom of the second. And
Batting seventh,
Cahigas
the
earning
third
himself
baseman,
the
number 52, Tyler
start today
Crater.
at designated hitter. He's been having some nice games recently. 1-for-1 at Benedictine. Got a hit against North Central 4 days before that. 2 days before that, got himself a hit at Aurora. So the outfielder slash pitcher doing good work for the Cougars. And now he gets a leadoff single to start off the bottom of the second, which brings up Tyler Crater. A 1-0 count on the third baseman. And Parker Crater is, as he swings at that one for strike one, part of that three-man group of sophomores who've really taken the leap this year between him, Tyler Dorsch, and Michael Kasich. Crater's having himself a great season. In addition to those two, 357 batting average as he fouls that one off. A 977 on base plus slugging. He's played in 31 games, all of which has been starts. And I mean, this trio of sophomores have been doing some really good work for CUC this year, including Crater.
And Crater provides a lot of stability to this Cougars team. As you mentioned, 31 games appeared in and 31 starts. He's doing this all as a sophomore.
And Cahigas gets himself a stolen base. Stolen base number 3 today for the Cougars. Parker, you mentioned it last inning when the Cougars had 2, as Christian Jacob and Gary Maynard each had 1. That Cougars have been aggressive on the base path today. And that's something you got to do if you want to take down these top-tier teams like CUW.
And that's exactly Coach Connor's mindset, especially against these top teams. You got to be aggressive, and so far the Cougars have done just that.
So Kasich goes down swinging, thrown out at first after the drop third strike. And now it'll bring up the shortstop, Jaime Sandoval.
Jaime Sandoval.
Sandoval looks at strike one. A senior on this team from Oaklawn, went to Morton West High School. On the season, a .250 hitter as he takes strike 2 there. He's played and started in all 33 games for the Cougars, one of just 3 Cougars who can claim that feat, along with Tyler Dorsch and Michael Kasich, as he swings at that one. Another drop third strike thrown down the line for the out at first. So with 2 strikeouts in a row, that suddenly brings us to the 2-out mark as Eli Hickman, the 9-hitter, comes up now.
Eli Hickman.
And Parker, I mean, a man in scoring position, Hickman, the 9-hitter, you have that dangerous top of the lineup behind him. You got to think his mindset right here is just get on base, not even necessarily drive Cahigas in, just be able to get on and bring that top of the lineup in.
I would say that's exactly his mindset. And when you have Christian Jacob coming up behind him, who is a top 3 hitter on this team, you can't afford to leave too many runners on base, especially. So my mindset would be just get on base.
And there's a hit into right field, gets past a diving Tillman. Hickman gets on base and more, drives Cahigas in, and he's going to walk into third base. A stand-up triple for Eli Hickman, and he scores the first run of the day for CUC.
Peter, he did just more than just get on base. I mean, coming out firing right away, gets a triple and an RBI, allows Cahigas to score and get the Cougars on the board.
Second baseman, number 2, Christian Jacob.
So Eli Hickman drives in Julio Cahigas, the RBI triple, the 2-out triple, as Christian Jacob swings at that first pitch for a foul ball. And now Parker, the Cougars have themselves a chance to add on here. man just 90 feet from home plate as Jacob swings at that one for strike 2.
And going back to what we were saying about Hickman's mindset of just getting on base, I would say this should be Jacob's mindset as well. Allow your teammate Hickman to come in, put you up 2 runs. That would be huge going into the third.
Instead, Jacob goes down swinging in 3 pitches. Third strikeout of the inning for Bartzak, but the Cougars, they get on the board. The 2-out RBI triple from Eli Hickman. Julio Cajigas crosses home. The Cougars, they're going to head into the third inning. Now up on the Falcons, 1-0. Cougars up 1-0 on the Falcons of the rival Concordia CUW. And Wyatt McLaughlin back on the mound. Parker, we talked about him before, and he struggled a little bit in that second inning, issued a walk to Kyle Flynn, a infield single to Jimmy Jurgensen, as there's a first pitch foul from Dylan Fike, but still managed to get 2 strikeouts on the inning and come out of it scoreless, which at the end of the day is what you want to see out of your starting pitcher.
And what I liked from McLaughlin was he didn't flinch. After walking a batter, after allowing a hit, didn't flinch, brought the Cougars to the bottom of the second where they got that 1 run, and now they're on top. McLaughlin has played excellent so far this afternoon.
1-1 count now on the senior catcher Fike, as Fike watches ball 2 go past him. Fike, a .231 hitter on the year in his 18 games played, as that one misses the zone as well. Now 3-1. So McLaughlin worked from behind in the count a lot last inning. See what he does here. The 3-1 swung on and missed. Actually got a piece of Fike's bat. Still counts for strike 2, and we have ourselves a full count here. McLaughlin set the 3-2 upstairs for ball 4. Fike, first CUW leadoff batter to reach safely. And that brings us back to the top of the lineup with Johannes Hawkinson, who struck out looking in his first at-bat of the day.
It'll be interesting to see how Hawkinson responds, especially like you touched on, striking out in his first at-bat against McLaughlin, who has played well so far through 3 innings. I would like to see this matchup again.
Well, first pitch swinging, throw to second in time, throw to first in time. Cougars double play. Crater to Jacob Takasik. And the Cougars go from having a runner on with no outs to nobody on with 2 outs just like that.
This Cougars defense has come to play, wouldn't you say, Peter?
I think that's a fair assessment. Crater to Jacob to Kosick, helping out their starting pitcher as now it brings up Danny Hahn, who looks at strike one. That's double play number 22 on the year for the Cougars. Came into the day top 5 in the conference in that stat as Hahn looks at strike 2. And Parker, it looks like McLaughlin's a little energized here after that double play as he fires 2 strikes to Hahn.
And after the way he's played so far, I think anybody would be energized. He's looking real good.
0-2 count on the shortstop for CUW. The pitch from McLaughlin, a little high and in for ball 1. I haven't seen McLaughlin work while ahead in the count in a hot minute, so we'll get a chance here. 1-2, swung on, got a piece of Hahn's bat, also took Brandon Mahler's mask off, but shows that catcher's mentality completely unfazed by the looks of it.
It looks like McLaughlin's putting a little bit more heat behind his pitches. You can see right there after it knocked the face mask off of Mahler.
Hahn still got a piece of it, so he stays alive. Another 1-2 pitch coming from the junior on the mound for CUC. McLaughlin gets the signs, delivers, just misses. Even count now at 2-2. Behind Hahn, Sean Tillman on deck. The 2-2. That one misses as well. Full count again. Parker, we've seen a lot of full counts here from McLaughlin, but he hasn't looked completely fazed by that.
He doesn't flinch. That's one of the best qualities about McLaughlin. We've seen him face many full counts, and he'll still end up getting the strikeout. It's a very impressive trait for McLaughlin.
The 3-2 misses for ball 4. A little high on that one. So Danny Hahn, after falling down 0-2 in the count, able to stay alive, draw the walk. And that'll bring up the right fielder, Sean Tillman, grounded out to Jaime Sandoval in his first at-bat. That was the final out of the first inning as McLaughlin throws the first, not in time. Now the first pitch is dropped. Hahn is going to just hang back and head back to first. 1-0 count here on Tillman. The next pitch, that one misses as well. 2-0 now. Tristan Largent on deck for CUW as McLaughlin checks first. And that one misses as McLaughlin falls in the 3-0 hole. He gets set now. 3-0 pitch. Misses. 4-pitch walk.
It's been a rare sight from McLaughlin today. We've seen him walk a few batters, but so far he hasn't done that today on 4 pitches.
As pitching coach Matt Smith heads his way to the mound with the rest of the infield. Talk over some adjustments with his hurler. And, I mean, Parker, how do you reset here if you are McLaughlin? You got the double play. You came out, fired 2 hard-thrown strikes right after that. And since then, it's, there was a foul off in there from Danny Hahn, but it's been 8 straight balls thrown, excluding any foul balls. So, I mean, how do you reset here? You just need 1 out, 2 runners on, Tristan Largent at the plate.
What you got to do if you're McLaughlin, and this is what you really have to do if you're a pitcher who's struggling, you just got to flush it. Flush the pass. We've seen McLaughlin be able to reset so far in this game, and all he has to do is just flush it and reset once again.
Largent flew out to center in his first at-bat. That came just last inning. Now he's got a pair of runners on, 2 outs. First pitch from McLaughlin. That one chopped foul right into the CUC dugout. So 0-1 on the CUW first baseman. McLaughlin checks the runners. That pitch misses. 1-1 now.
And even though McLaughlin's been struggling in this third inning, you got to think this Cougars defense is only 1 out away from closing out the top of the third, heading back to the bottom of the third and back on offense. All you got to do is just get this final out.
The 1-1 gets away from Mahler, so the runners are going to advance. So Hahn heads over the third, Tillman to second. That's now a 2-1 count on Largent. It'll be a passed ball. The 2-1 misses way outside, 3-1. Kyle Flynn on deck, walked last inning. And if he might have a chance at a bases loaded opportunity, depending on what happens with this pitch. The 3-1 misses for ball 4. Third straight walk issued by McLaughlin.
Third baseman number 6, Kyle Flynn.
And with the bases loaded, 2 outs, that'll bring up Flynn. No room for error for CUC right now. Up by 1, bases loaded, 2 outs. The first pitch misses for ball 1.
This Falcons team is starting to heat up. They're starting to feel that momentum. This is the first time today they've had bases loaded. And going back to what you said, Peter, this Cougars team cannot afford any errors, especially at this point.
1-0 count. The next pitch, strike 1. McLaughlin able to fire one in there. And Parker, I mean, I think we're seeing a total no-swing policy here from the Falcons, as I don't know the last time they lifted the bat off their shoulders, as there's a swing and a miss, right as I say it.
And really, the reason they have that no-swing policy, I mean, you got to think McLaughlin's walked 5 batters so far through 3 innings. They don't really have a right to swing besides right there.
1-2, the pitch. It gets past, it gets in front of Mahler, excuse me. Everyone lost it for a second. Mahler had to spin around. Luckily, it stayed right in front of him. Runners have to stay where they are. 2-2 now. Even count. McLaughlin, the pitch. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. The Cougars get out of the bases loaded situation. No damage done. That 1-0 lead remains, and we are going to head to the bottom of the third. Cougars up by a run. You're watching the Cougar Sports Network. Back here at the Thunderdome, a big top of the third defensively for the Cougars. Parker White McLaughlin, talk about a bounce back. He issues 4 total walks, including 3 straight to load the bags with 2 outs, and able to get the swinging strikeout of Kyle Flynn to escape the inning. I mean, McLaughlin was fired up. The fans were fired up. The defense was fired up. I mean, what a way to end an inning where where a lot of things didn't go the way he wanted. He was still able to get the result in the end of the day.
Absolutely. I mean, when you throw, what was it, like 8 straight balls, walk 4 batters, and all you needed was 1 more out to send this thing to the bottom of the third. And sure enough, Wyatt McLaughlin came through, got that final strikeout, and it was a really impressive bounce back.
As Tyler Dorsch, this one driven into left field, and it's against the wall. Dorsch is going to head into second safely. A couple feet away from a home run. That was an absolute bullet to the left field. And Dorsch gets a leadoff single to get the Cougars started off right here in the bottom of the third.
Now Tyler Dorsch 2 for 2 from behind the plate today. Doing great on the offensive end. We see that right there. That ball goes over the head of the shortstop Flynn, hits the back wall. Nice hit right there from Tyler Dorsch.
Now it's Gary Maynard with a runner in scoring position, nobody out. He takes a hack at the first pitch and fouls it back. Maynard hit into a fielder's choice in his first at-bat and then managed to advance to second on a stolen base. See what he can do here in his second at-bat of the day. Going up against Bart Zach. The 0-1 up and inside, so 1-1 now. Bardzak checks Dorsch at second before delivering. This one bounces away from Fike. Able to jump on it, keep Dorsch at second, 2-1 now. And Parker, we've seen Fike have some troubles in terms of just getting control of the ball. A couple drop third strikes, and then we saw that drop ball there. I mean, and against such an aggressive running team like the Cougars, that might come into effect later in the game.
Yeah, not having his best outing. He's allowed 4 hits, had an error, a walked batter. Definitely not his best outing. He'll be looking to change that around here in the bottom of the third.
So 3-1 on Gary Maynard. The pitch misses outside for ball 4. Maynard will take his base on the walk. And with 2 runners on, it'll bring up Mikey Kasich.
The first baseman, number 10, Michael Kasich.
Kasich flew out to right in his first at-bat of the day. I have a chance to do something with a runner in scoring position, and then Maynard at first as that one drops into the strike zone.
And this is a position you want to be in if you're the Cougars. Up by 1 here in the bottom of the third. No outs, 2 runners on base, and Kasich up to bat.
Bardzak checking Dorsch as Kasich lines this one into center. Going back for it is Hawkinson, makes a grab. Dorsch tags up and heads to third safely. That one had some pop off the bat of Kasich. Instead, Hawkinson able to reel it in, dead center. Dorsch still able to advance to third on the tag up. Cougars have runners in the corners, just 1 out for Brandon Mahler.
Kasich was able to get behind that ball very well, just not enough distance as it was a line drive straight into center field into Hawkinson.
Brandon Mahler.
The Cougars are still in good position right here with a runner on third, runner on first, only 1 out here in the bottom of the third.
His first pitch to Mahler is called a strike. Insurance run 90 feet from the plate and Dorish. And the other direction, Maynard still at first as he heads back in after the pickoff attempt from Bartzak. Bartzak's going to check Maynard again. He may be cognizant of how aggressive the Cougars have been in terms of running today. As this one driven into left field, going all the way back and making the grab is Miller. Dorsch is going to run in and cross home safely. That's an RBI sac fly for Brandon Mahler, and Cougars add another one to their lead.
And although that ball didn't get enough distance as Mahler would have hoped, still allowed his teammate Dorsch to score. So what proved to be a negative also turned out to be a positive for the Cougars.
So Dorsch comes across, scores second run of the day for CUC. As here's a line drive into left field. Absolute no doubter, Julio Cajigas. I think everyone knew that was a home run the second it left his bat. And the designated hitter gets it done for the Cougars, drives home Gary Maynard, and that's now a 4-run lead for CUC.
I love the swagger by Julio Cajigas. It only took one pitch, and that was hit clean off his bat, and he knew right away, had a sick bat flip at the end. Now the Cougars are up by 4 runs here in the bottom of the third.
2 RBI shot from Julio Cajigas.
Third baseman number 52, Tyler Crater.
Gary Maynard comes in on the home run. And now the Cougars have a 4-run advantage over the rival Concordia. Base paths empty. 2 outs for Tyler Crater, who takes ball 2. Crater struck out in his first at-bat last inning. He gets his second crack at Bartzak today. And that's a solid hit ball, and coming all the way in to make a running grab is Hawkinson. Johannes Hawkinson covering some ground, loses his hat in the process, able to reel in the hit from Crater for out number 3. But the Cougars tack on 3 after the Brandon Mahler sac fly and the Julio Cajigas 2-run home run. We're going to head to the 4th inning. Cougars up 4-0 over the Falcons. Fourth inning here in River Forest. After the 3-run bottom of the third, Cougars on top of the Falcons 4-0. It's not the only CUC team in play today. The softball squad up at Rockford for a doubleheader that was originally supposed to be played on Sunday. Currently trailing the Regents 5-1, bottom of the 5th inning. So hopefully softball able to come back in game 1 and then maybe do some damage in game 2 as well. But for right now, single game here in River Forest as McLaughlin fires the first strike of the at-bat to Jurgensen. 2-1 the count now. And Parker, I'm interested to see what kind of inning we see on McLaughlin. And here's a deep drive into left. Dorsch making a running attempt. Going to be nowhere close as that one hits the wall. And it'll be a stand-up leadoff double for Jurgensen. Second straight leadoff hitter to reach base for the Falcons. But Parker, I say I'm interested to see what kind of inning we see out of McLaughlin here. As those last 2 innings, he had his shaky moments, especially last inning, issuing the 4 walks. Yet some way, by the end of the inning, he comes out of it, no runs allowed. So now after the leadoff single here, it's going to be fun to watch what McLaughlin can do here.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how he responds as well. You mentioned the shakiness in the 2nd and 3rd inning. And with his team up 4, the Cougars have a lot of momentum. And I'd like to see how McLaughlin responds.
Now that 4-run lead should help McLaughlin as well. It takes a little bit of the pressure off knowing that you aren't protecting a 1-run lead or a tied game. Maybe you can play a little bit looser, just focus on getting out, as there's a big swing and miss from Matt Miller. Miller struck out looking in his first at-bat in the 2nd inning. One of 2 strikeouts McLaughlin fired in that inning, as this one upstairs for ball 2. Some activity down in the Cougars bullpen. Falcons also have some relief pitchers getting ready as McLaughlin evens out the count with that strike. Not able to make out who's who just yet. As that one just poked up. A little fly out to Michael Kasich at first for out number 1.
And it looked like Miller kind of reached in on that one. Didn't necessarily need to swing at that one. Just reached in a little bit, and that resulted in the pop fly up to first from Kasich.
And that's the kind of fly out you want if you're at McLaughlin. This Cougars defense doesn't get past the outfield. Almost like it looked like it was an accident that Miller even made contact with it. And most importantly, keeps Jurgensen at second rather than advancing to third. As now the Cougars got Josh Ajinaga to worry about, who looks at strike 1. And there's strike 2. Ajinaga struck out swinging in his first at-bat.
Telling you, these last few pitches, it looks like the ball is really coming off well of McLaughlin's hand. Has some heat behind it, and he's starting to find a little bit of a groove here in the 4th.
The 0-2 just misses. 1-2 now. 5 walks, 4 strikeouts for McLaughlin so far today. So he gets set, has a chance at another strikeout here. 1-2, the pitch. In there for strike 3, he gets it. Ajiniga goes down looking, and that'll bring up the 9-hitter Dylan Fike. Walked to lead off the 3rd inning before being thrown out at second as part of a double play Hawkinson hit into.
And Peter, you brought this up earlier. The Cougars having that 4-0 lead really takes some weight off of the shoulders of McLaughlin. He looks like he's playing more free. We see that after that strikeout, which was his 5th strikeout so far this afternoon.
Strike 1 thrown to Fike. Strike 2 thrown to Fike. All right, 0-2 count on the CUW catcher. McLaughlin already has 1 strikeout this inning. See if he can go for number 2 as he checks second, first, and the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Wyatt McLaughlin is dealing here in River Forest. Has held the Falcons scoreless through 4. We're going to head to the bottom of the 4th now. Cougars up 4-0 over CUW. Here we go. Bottom of the 4th here at Concordia University, Chicago, and leading it off for CUC, Jaime Sandoval and Parker going back to that last inning from Wyatt McLaughlin and the rest of the Cougars defense as Sandoval takes strike 1. Very clean inning outside of that leadoff double as after that first hit, McLaughlin then induced a flyout out of Matt Miller and then 2 straight strikeouts of Ajiniga and Fike. And just overall, again, besides the leadoff double, a very good inning for McLaughlin.
It was definitely a very clean inning defensively, and it showed some resemblance to that first inning getting those quick 3 outs.
Well, that bouncer is grabbed by Largent, who takes it to the bag himself for the out.
Center fielder, number 19, Eli Hickman.
And with 1 out, it'll be Eli Hickman drove in the first run of the day for the Cougars. Currently stands as the winning run if the CUC pitching remains as dominant as it's been, as that one is driven into left field, and tracking it down is Miller. So one pitch leads to an out from Hickman. And with 2 outs now, it is Christian Jacob. That's a new CUW pitcher.
Oh, shoot. Is it really?
Yeah. 10. Yeah.
I'm not surprised.
New pitcher on the mound for CUW as well. Forgot to mention that at the top of the inning, number 10, as Christian Jacob grounds out to short. Well, that was the new CUW pitcher, Jack Rebernack, and he comes out, throws an incredibly clean inning, gets Sandoval, Hickman, and Jacob out 1, 2, 3. Hopefully we'll get a chance to talk about him some more next inning, but right now Cougars will go back on defense, currently up on the Falcons 4-0. Wyatt McLaughlin back on the mound for the Cougars, but he'll be dueling a new pitcher, Parker, which took us a second to figure out, as that was Jack Rebernack, who took over in the 4th inning and did an excellent job of it for the Falcons. Shut down the Cougars completely in just 7 pitches. May I add, got Jaime Sandoval to ground out, got Eli Hickman to fly out, and then Christian Jacob grounded out as well. And that'll do it for Bart Zach's days. He goes 3 innings, 5 hits, 4 runs, all of which were earned, 2 walks, and 4 strikeouts across 60 total pitches. But Parker, I mean, Bart Zach came in with good numbers supporting him, but it did not take long for the Cougars to chase him from the game.
No, he just looked like he never really found his groove, but got to give all the credit in the world to Rebernack, who came in right away and got 3 outs for this Falcons defense, sends this thing to the bottom of the 5th, or excuse me, the top of the 5th.
So it is also top of the lineup, as Johannes Hawkinson now 2-2 count after that foul ball. McLaughlin let up a leadoff double last inning and then got 3 straight outs as he fires a ball high for ball 3. And the last 2 outs of last inning were a strikeout. As Hawkinson will stay alive a little longer here. Struck out looking in the 1st inning and then hit into a 5-4-3 double play in the 3rd. As the next offering, strike 3. 3rd straight strikeout from Wyatt McLaughlin. And Parker, the really incredible thing is that of his many strikeouts today, 4 of them have been looking, just completely freezing the CUW hitters. They're not even taking swings at them. I mean, McLaughlin, when he's been on today, and we've seen him be off, to be fair, as he's, had his struggle in terms of walks, but when he's been on, he's just been about unhittable.
And I think that really speaks to the variety of pitches that McLaughlin is throwing, where to these batters it looks like it's going to be a ball, but it ends up getting in there for a strike, and that's credit to Wyatt McLaughlin.
Fouled back by Danny Hahn for strike 1. Hahn grounded out in the first inning and then walked in the third. Got all the way to third base before the inning ended. As that one is up in the attic for ball 2. Two and one now on the CUW shortstop. Is that nice movement on it? Gets into the zone for strike 2. Now Hahn has to go into protection mode, trying to avoid being the 4th straight CUW batter to strike out. As the pitch. And now here's a drive into right field. Gary Maynard tracks it all the way for the out. And now it'll bring up the right fielder for CUW, Sean Tillman. A ground out and a walk so far today.
The right fielder, number 8, Sean Tillman.
And Peter, I'm going to continue to harp on this, but I've just continued to be impressed by this Cougars defense. Not allowing CUW to get a single run through 5 innings. It has just been impressive to watch.
1-0 the count now. On Tillman as McLaughlin fires a strike in there. Tristan Largent on deck. Only if Tillman can reach safely. As they appeal down to the first base umpire, Patrick Weber. He says no swing. 2-1 now. The next offering fouled back, so that'll even the count out. Another 2-strike at bat here as Hawkinson struck out. Hahn was 2-2 before flying out, and now Tillman sits at 2-2. As the pitch hit right over the head of McLaughlin into center field. Sean Tillman will reach on the 2-out single. First CUW hitter to reach since Jimmy Jurgensen led off the 4th with a double. So the inning isn't over just yet, as that'll bring up Tristan Largent.
Really nice hit right there from Tillman, as that ball goes over the head of McLaughlin and splits both Sandoval and Jacob into center field. The Falcons needed a hit, and Tillman provided right there.
So Largent now gets to bat with a runner on. He looks at ball 1. Fly out and a walk so far for the CUW first baseman. As McLaughlin turns and fires to first. Tillman in safely. Mahler delivered us the signs to his battery mate as McLaughlin gets set now. Delivers. This one popped up in the left field. Dorsch gets under it, reels it in for the out. Another scoreless inning of work from Wyatt McLaughlin and the Cougars defense. And we are going to head now to the bottom of the 5th. Cougars still up on the Falcons 4-0. You're watching the Cougar Sports Network. Bottom of the fifth, Tyler Dorsch will lead things off for the Cougars, who, Parker, have been a very good home team so far this year. 7-3 when playing here at the Thunderdome. Compare that to their 2-11 mark on the road. This is very much a team who likes their home cooking, but CUW also has their struggles on the road, just like CUC, 1-7 when they're not playing up at Mequon, Wisconsin, and maybe we're seeing some of those struggles come to fruition today here in River Forest.
Yeah, we're just witnessing two teams who are both very dominant when they're at home, not as much on the away side, but the Falcons coming into today third in the NAC, but again, like you mentioned, 1-7 on the road, and we're seeing that so far today as the Falcons have not looked like the third team in the NAC so far.
Reberneck back on the mound for CUW as he issues a 4-pitch walk to Tyler Dorsch. And with a runner on, that's going to be Gary Maynard up to the plate. Maynard, a fielder's choice in the first inning, and then a walk in the third would score a run on Julio Cajigas' 2-run blast. As he goes swinging, Hahn to Ajinaga to Largent for the double play. And now the Cougars down to their last out in the inning with Michael Kasich up at the plate.
Nice defensive stand right there from the Falcons, who have been struggling on defense so far this afternoon, but getting the double play right there, huge boost of momentum.
22nd double play of the year for the Falcons as Kasich looks at strike one. Haven't had a chance, but coming into the day, Reberneck a 4.76 ERA and just under 23 innings as Kasich lines out to Ajinaga at second. That'll do it for the fifth inning. The Cougars' offensive stand. Dorsch leads off with a walk. Gary Maynard hits into the double play, and then Kasich lines out to second. After a speedy bottom of the fifth, we're going to head to the sixth inning now. Cougars still up on the Falcons, 4-0. Right, here we go. Wyatt McLaughlin still on the mound, and Parker, he might have found his match with the CUW reliever who came in. Rebernack, 2 innings, has only issued a walk. That's the only base runner that Rebernack has allowed. Got a double play last inning, and coming in relief for Bartzak, Rebernack's looked really, really good.
Yeah, he's held the Cougars without a run here in the past 2 innings. He's come in right away, produced, and that's really all you can ask for if you're the Falcons.
So now the Cougars will rely on their arm on the mound, and McLaughlin, who throws strike 1 to Kyle Flynn. Flynn walked in the second and then struck out swinging to end the third. That was bases loaded, 2 outs, and Flynn's strikeout got CUC out of the jam as he now faces a 1-1 count. Still looks like there is some work in the Cougars bullpen as some relief pitchers get ready just in case McLaughlin needs to come out. Hopefully that doesn't come anytime soon, as he's now up 1-2 on Flynn.
However, something to keep an eye on, that pitch count going up for McLaughlin now at 93 pitches. It's just something to keep an eye on.
There's a foul ball. And, Parker, if you had to knock one thing from McLaughlin's day so far today, is that there's been some relatively inefficient innings. I mean, we talked about that bases loaded 2-out situation, issued 3 straight walks, 4 total in the inning. So even though he's getting the results he wants at the end of the day, still holding CUW, a very good offense off the board, as here is a drive into right field. Gary Maynard gets under it for the grab. But even though that's still a goose egg on the scoreboard for the team in blue, McLaughlin getting that pitch count up that you think that eventually, maybe within the next couple of innings, CUW is going to get to that CUC bullpen, and who knows what happens then.
Yeah, but McLaughlin has been able to respond. You mentioned those 3 walks. On the day, he has 5 walks, but he also has 7 strikeouts, and he's only allowed 3 hits. Again, this is a CUW team who is second in the conference in batting average, and he's held them to 0 so far. He's doing his job despite the shakiness in that second and third inning.
1-0 count now on Jurgensen. Jurgensen, maybe the one Falcon, having a good day against McLaughlin. A single as well as a double so far today. Though that single was an infield single took a bounce off the mound before McLaughlin could get to it. Jurgensen now as the batters count 2-0, make that 3-0. Matt Miller on deck, and then Josh Ajiniga in the hole if it gets to him. As there's a strike from McLaughlin, 3-1 the count now.
Be interesting to see if we can see McLaughlin battle back like he has been before, down 3-0. See if he can respond right here, get that full count.
Well, instead it is a walk to Jurgensen, his 3rd trip to first base today. Having himself a nice day at the plate. And now he's going to rely on a pinch hitter to keep him moving, Cole Aguirre, senior out of Chino Hills, California.
Heading for the left fielder, Miller, number 2, Cole Aguirre.
Aguirre on the year, 256 batting average. Is listed as an outfielder and right-handed pitcher, so decent chance we see him take the place of Matt Miller out in left. Have to see as now a 2-0 count on the CUW pinch hitter. Two and one after the strike thrown from McLaughlin. First time facing Geary today. As that chopper goes foul. Geary did not get a plate appearance when these two teams faced off a little over 2 weeks ago in Game 1 of this split-up doubleheader due to the inclement weather that day. As the 2-2, Geary gets a piece of it, looks like tied up his hands. So the count will stay there at 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Looks like that one might have tipped off the bottom of his bat.
That one high, 3-1 now. 3-2, excuse me. Full count. McLaughlin deals to the pinch hitting Aguirre, who hits it to Crater, hops into his glove. 1 out at second, 2 outs at first. Double play Cougars. Crater to Jacob to Kasich. Second double play CUC's pulled off today, and they're going to head to the bottom of the 6th, still up 4-0 on the Falcons. You're watching the Cougars Sports Network. Cougars up to bat. Brandon Mahler to lead things off. A couple of defensive replacements for CUW. Meanwhile, Cole Aguirre, after pinch hitting for Matt Miller, stays in the game at Miller's spot in left field. And now on the mound is a new pitcher in number 30, junior Ben Spears. Out of Waukesha, Wisconsin. Replaces Reberneck, who, as this one bounced over the head of Spears, gloved by Ejinaga, who throws the first in time for the out. But Reberneck comes out of the game. 2 innings pitched, just 2 walks issued, no hits, no runs, no strikeouts. All in 14 pitches, so a great outing from Reberneck. Keeps the score where it was at 4-0. As this one, an absolute bomb in the left field, just foul.
You got to think if that one would have been fair, that was out of here.
Okay, he gets already with a home run on the day. As here's a rope into right center. And now Cajigas is going to try and stretch it to 2. He does, just beats the throw. And how about that? Julio Cajigas having himself a great day so far. A single, a home run, and a double. If he can knock in a triple, would have himself a cycle. And now with runner in scoring position, it's Tyler Crater.
You got to think. Cajigas is making the most of his start today. 3 for 3 from the plate, and it seems like every time he's able to hit the ball, it's just a rope off the end of his bat.
As here's a hit into right field for Tyler Crater. Cajigas is going to hold at third. Tyler Crater gets his first hit of the day. And with runners at the corners, it'll be Jaime Sandoval now, 0 for 2 after a strikeout and a ground out. Well, Ben Spears on the mound, 17 2/3 of an innings pitched this year.
Number 29, Jaime
A
Sandoval.
5.09 ERA coming into today. 1-1 on the season. Has thrown a complete game as well, as this one's a dribbler to Jiniga at second. Gets one out as that ball is thrown to Hahn, covering second. But it does bring in another Cougars run, as the Falcons elect to get Crater down at second. So that Cougar lead up to 5 runs now. As Eli Hickman at the plate. Own 1 count on Hickman, who had an RBI triple to score the first run of the day and then flew out to left in the 4th. So he looks at ball 1 there from Spears.
Spears has got off to a bit of a shaky start as well, allowing 2 hits, 1 run scored so far, and an error for him.
He checks Sandoval at first, who slides in safely. Also want to mention final score update. Game 1 up in Rockford. CUC softball drops it to the region 7-2. Game 2 scheduled to start at 5. Just about 19 minutes from now. So hopefully softball team can come away with a split. Meanwhile, baseball here in River Forest looking to take the only game of today. As Sandoval is going to take off for second. The throw, it's missed by Hahn. Hahn not able to reel in the throw from Fike. Sandoval takes his place at second now.
Sandoval's caught a few lucky breaks here in this 6th inning.
Now a 1-2 count on Hickman. Spears checks Sandoval. Now delivers. In there for strike 3. Hickman goes down looking. Spears comes into the game. Lets up a run, though. A double to Cajigas. Not leadoff double. A double to Cajigas. He eventually crosses home, and the Cougars are up 5-0 now over the Falcons here in River Forest. We're going to head to the 7th inning. You're watching the Cougar Sports Network. Mute, please. All right, ready?
Number 8 batter leads off the top of the 7th for the Falcons. Second baseman, number 7, Josh.
New pitcher on the mound for CUC. It's the righty Mike Tobin. But before we talk about the new pitcher, Parker, I feel like we have to talk about the last pitcher. Wyatt McLaughlin leaves the game, 6 innings pitched, 3 hits allowed, no runs, 6 walks, 7 strikeouts. But, I mean, McLaughlin giving what the Cougars asked for him as a starter and more on top of that. I mean, the only kind of blemish there is the walk number. Just an extremely good outing from McLaughlin, as this one is snagged by a running Hickman. Nice play there by the CUC center fielder. But, again, Parker, McLaughlin, what a great outing from the junior. Puts his team in a great spot to get the win.
Absolutely, and he did his job. Despite the high number of batters walked, still had the 7 strikeouts, only allowed 3 hits, but you got to think that total pitch count was getting up there. He finished with 110 pitches, just a lot of wear and tear on his arm, but an excellent outing for him.
So McLaughlin checks out as that's a foul ball off the bat of Dylan Fike. And replacing McLaughlin is Mike Tobin, making appearance number 16 on the year, 21 innings pitched, a 6.86 ERA, 0-1 record, as you know, it's a 1-1 count on the CUW catcher. That one outside for ball 2.
It'll be interesting to see how Tobin follows up what we saw from McLaughlin, especially as the Cougars are trying to close out this game with a victory.
Great pitch there from Mike Tobin. Had Fike fallen into the next batter, to the left-handed batter box, excuse me. And now 2-2 count. The pitch popped up. Christian Jacob just past the infield, gets under it for the snag. And that's out number 2.
Tobin's pitches have a lot of movement behind them, not allowing the batters for the Falcons to be able to get under it and hit the ball as cleanly as they would like. But Mike Tobin's pitch is very impressive so far. Lots and lots of movement.
And a bit of a contrast from McLaughlin, who comes out, throws absolute heat to these pitchers. I mean, there's a lot of power behind McLaughlin's pitches. Tobin, meanwhile, relying a bit more on that movement, on that deception. So CUW's got to adjust to an entirely different pitch style now, as Johannes Hawkinson falls down 0-1 in the count. I think that 1-1. Hawkinson still looking to reach base safely, 2 strikeouts and a double play.
Yeah, and sometimes it's not always easy for batters to adjust to 2 different pitchers who are on opposite ends of the spectrum. McLaughlin throwing the heaters that we saw through those first 6 innings, and now Tobin, who has a little bit of a slower pitch, but his pitches have a lot more movement on them. We'll see how these batters adjust to it.
Hawkinson now in a favorable position. 3-1 count. Two outs, the pitch from Tobin, and this one drilled into right field, but Gary Maynard is there with the catch. Nice 1-2-3 inning from Mike Tobin, coming in relief of McLaughlin. Gets the Cougars through the top of the 7th. Scoreless at stretch time in River Forest. When we come back, the Cougars will be up to bat, looking at some more insurance runs. You're watching the Cougar Sports Network. Number 36, Owen Burns on the mound for CUW, coming in relief of Ben Spears, who leaves after 1 inning pitched, 2 hits, 1 run, which was earned, no walks, and a strikeout over 10 total pitches. And Burns, a sophomore out of Morris, Illinois, coming in now, trying keep the score where it is as CUW running out of time to make up these 5 runs as Jacob fouls that one off. Burns throws a ball there. He comes in with just 12 innings pitched over 7 appearances. A 1.50 ERA as Jacobs fouls another one off. Gets the signs from Fike behind the plate, delivers. And that one hits Christian Jacob.
Looks like it just skinned his shins right there. Allows Jacob to get to first. Good start so far for the Cougars.
And Burns was doing some good work up to then. Had Jacobs in a 1-2 count. Couple foul offs, but really had Jacobs battling there. Unfortunately, a little slip up there leads to the Cougars leadoff man getting on first for Tyler Dorsch, who's had 2 walks and a double so far today. And now he'll face off against Burns for the first time in his 4th plate appearance as he takes strike 1. Gary Maynard on deck, and then Michael Kasich in the hole. That pitch outside for ball 1. One and one, the pitch fouled straight over the broadcasting booth behind home plate. And now 1-2 is the count on the CUC left fielder. And nice eye there by Dorsch as he takes ball 2.
Dorsch is a very patient batter. Again, great eye from him not to swing at that one. It will take this count to 2-2.
Dorsch, part of that trio of sophomores who do not look like sophomores for the Cougars as he takes ball 3 there. Dorsch, Kasich, and Crater all having themselves nice second-year campaigns. So full count, and the pitch misses for ball 4. Tyler Dorsch draws his 3rd walk of the day. And I think something we haven't really talked about so far today, Parker, is how balanced this Cougars lineup is in terms of they get singles, they get timely hits, they get, your slugging home runs and your doubles and triples. They also draw a fair number of walks as well. This is a team who doesn't rely on scoring runs one way or the other. They can score on just about any team in any matter of fashion, excuse me.
Yeah, and this is a Cougars team who's just very gifted on offense. That's something Coach Connor and I have talked about in our Coaches Weekly interviews. But, yes, this is a very gifted team. The Cougars are as far as batting. They have several guys who have a batting average of 300 or better. Again, this is a very skilled group.
0-1 now on Gary Maynard, as that's a deep drive into left field, and it is down, hits the wall. It'll score. Jacob Dorsch is going to round third as well. He'll score, no issue. 2 RBI double. Gary Maynard. And the Cougars extend their lead now. 5-0 turns into 7-0.
Peter, just as we were talking about it, Gary Maynard with a nice hit deep into left center. Allows 2 of his teammates to score. Now the Cougars go up 7-0, and the Falcons have yet to respond.
7-0 lead. Michael Kosick, at the plate. As he goes swinging first pitch, Maynard will advance to third as Kosick is thrown out at first. And with 1 out, runner 90 feet away from home, it'll be Brandon Mahler at the plate. A strikeout, a ground out, and a sac fly for an RBI so far today as he takes ball 1. That sac fly came back in the third, represents the winning run right now as that drove in it was the second run of the day.
There he is, back on.
Mahler, 1-1 count. And there's a hit into center. It's grabbed by Hawkinson to throw to home. In time. Maynard tagged out before he can touch the plate. Nice throw there from Hawkinson. And that'll do it for the bottom of the seventh, Cougars. They tag on a couple more runs, though, off the 2 RBI double from Gary Maynard. We're going to head to the 8th inning. New pitcher on the mound for CUC as well. We'll have more on him when we come back on the Cougar Sports Network. All right, here we go. Next pitcher up for the Cougars is Chandler Kerr. Comes in relief of Mike Tobin. 1 inning pitch. No hits, no runs, no walks, no strikeouts. Over 13 pitches from Tobin. And now Chandler Kerr takes over for the Cougars, the lefty. But Parker Tobin comes in relief of McLaughlin, and no drop-off in quality whatsoever. Very efficient, 13-pitch inning, no hits allowed, just continuing the dominance we've seen on the mound today for the team in pinstripes.
Absolutely, and despite not getting a high volume of pitches, Tobin still did his job, and now we'll see a new pitcher in Chandler Kerr. We'll see what he can do from the mound as the Cougars try to close this one out.
On the season, Kerr thrown 26 innings, sporting a 8.65 ERA on a 2-4 record. As he goes to work now on Danny Hahn, who looked at the first 3 pitches for balls. And there is strike 1 of the at-bat. As the 3-1 turns into ball 4. So Danny Hahn lead off walk, and with a runner on, that'll bring Sean Tillman up to the plate.
Right fielder number 8, Sean Tillman.
Parker, not the start that you want to see out of Kerr, but this has been a theme throughout today with the CUC pitching that even when they find themselves in a bind, like issuing a walk, or in one case issuing 3 straight walks, they find a way to work out of it and keep the Falcons from crossing home.
Absolutely. It's not an ideal start for Kerr, but he is another guy who has quite a bit of experience, has made 10 appearances, 7 starts so far this season. There's no doubt in my mind that he'll be able to bounce back from this.
Well, he has a 1-0 count as he elects to check Hahn at first, excuse me. And that one in there for a strike, 1-1 the count now. Well, last time these two teams played before the first half of this doubleheader on April 22nd, as Kerr checks first one more time, was April 24th of last year. It was a doubleheader at Mequon. It was split. Falcons took the first game 12-9. Cougars took the second game 15-5. But in the last 10 matchups, it's been dominated by CUC. As that pitch a little too high for ball 2. So you see 8-2 in the last 10 matchups, including 8-1 in the last 9. As that ball hit weakly to Crater, gloves it, and they're going to say it goes foul. So instead, it'll be strike number 2. Tillman back into the box to try and keep his at-bat alive.
And we're seeing similar pitches from Kerr where it has a lot of movement on these pitches like we've seen from Tobin, not allowing these Falcons batters to fully get behind the swing. We saw that with the tip right there from Tillman.
2-2 count on Tillman, and the pitch swung on. Jacob gloves it, throws the second for 1. The throw to first, not in time, but Cougars get the lead runner and Hahn out at first. Tillman hits into a fielder's choice. And now with 1 out, that'll bring up Tristan Largent. Cougars looking for win number 40 all time against CUW. 39-16 is their record against the rival Concordia from Mequon. First pitch. Strike to Largent. The next offering misses. Largent able to hold off on that one. Thought about it. Able to pull the bat back. Kerr checks the runner. Tillman at first. Now gets set. The 1-1 delivers. And then there's strike two. Largent has flown out twice and also walked so far today in his 3 at-bats.
It was a nice pitch right there from Kerr to bring the count to 1-2.
That one outside takes a bounce off the backstop, and Tillman's going to jog his way to second. Wild pitch from Kerr. Moves Tillman into scoring position, takes the double play out of option here. Now the 2-2, and that one knocked foul past the CUW dugout. Some more activity in the Cougars bullpen. So at least one more inning of play after this, as this one is lifted into left field. Dorsch gets under it for the grab, out number 2.
Nice response right there from the Cougars defense, getting out number 2 here in the top of the 8th.
And Parker, these are 2 defenses on the whole that are both playing some extremely good deep baseball today. No errors on either side of today's matchup, as both defenses have been very clean, and even a couple highlight plays in there as well, a couple double plays as Mahler gets in front, able to jump back on that one. But both these defenses showing off what they got today. No errors so far.
And a play that really sticks in my mind was that throw from Hawkinson in the bottom of the 7th all the way to home plate to tag Gary Maynard out. So he's trying to steal home. It was a very impressive throw from Hawkinson.
1-0 now on Kyle Flynn, who that one pops up. Tillman's going to stay at second as Mahler's able to get to it. Kerr requests the new ball. Home plate umpire Mike Slowinski gets to him. And now a strike fired in by Kerr, 2-1 the count. Flynn, a walk, a strikeout, and a flyout so far today. As he tries to keep the inning alive. Tillman in scoring position. This one high for ball 3.
Kerr not looking as polished on his pitches so far. Seeing quite a few balls from him and a batter walked. You got to clean that up if he wants to come out of here with a victory for the Cougars.
And there's a strike. Flynn thought he was taking a trip to first. Instead, Slowinski calls strike 2. Flynn grabs his bat, heads back into the batter's box. Three and two count now. As the pitch from Kerr popped up, goes back foul.
Kyle Flynn not going down without a fight as the stalemate continues between him and Kerr.
As the next pitch upstairs, there's ball 4. So a 2-out walk issued to Kyle Flynn, and with 2 runners on, it'll be Jimmy Jurgensen having himself a nice day offensively. A single, a double, and a walk in that order. See if he can bring home CUW's first run of the day. Tillman at second. As there's a strike called.
Nice movement on that pitch from Kerr. Looked like it might have been a slider.
Last time CUW had a runner in scoring position was way back in the 4th. As Jurgensen, this is a deep drive into right field, and making the grab coming over is Eli Hickman. With him and Maynard in on the ball. Hickman reels it in for out number 3. The shutout continues, and we're going to head to the bottom of the 8th. Cougars up on the Falcons, 7 runs to none. Bottom of the 8th, Cougars could be their last chance to tack on a couple insurance runs before they try to close out the Falcons in the top of the 9th. Already up 7-0, and now they'll face off against a junior righty and Connor Krosnecht. Krosnecht coming in relief of Owen Burns as Cajigas. Now Hopper gets to the third baseman, and Cajigas is thrown out for the first time today. Krosnecht in relief of Owen Burns, who pitched for just 1 inning, 1 hit, 2 runs, both of which were earned, as well as a walk. Now it'll be up to the junior to try and keep the lead, the deficit where it is, as scooping that one up was the Geniga to throw out Crater.
This is very rare that we've seen the two leadoff batters get out in their first two at-bats. Looks like the Cougars were, those past two Cougars were very impatient at their at-bats, swinging at whatever Crow's Neck was throwing. Not a good start for the Cougars here in the top of the 8th.
There's strike one to Jaime Sandoval. Score update from Rockford as CUC softball up 2-1 in game 2 of that doubleheader. Just about on the first, so plenty of softball left to be played. Again, Cougars dropped that first match up to the regions today, so they'll look to come out of Rockford with a split. Meanwhile, the baseball team, just a half inning of good defense away from shutting down the Falcons. And they're completing the split doubleheader that was originally supposed to all be played on April 22nd, was split up because of weather as this pop fly goes into foul territory. It's tracked down by Tillman. So a clean 1-2-3 inning for Crow's Neck, and we are going to head to the top of the 9th now. Cougars look to shut the Falcons down, up 7-0.
Cougs.
So Cougars back on defense, looking to shut the Falcons down. Before that, I want to say thanks to everyone making today's Cougar Sportsnet production possible. Katie Schrems and Sydney Lloyd on production. And then under the direction of Sydney Ploska-Slaher and Kayla McLeod. Parker Kelly joining me on the Cougar Sports Network as we're going to have a glove switch here for Brandon Mahler. And then new pitcher on the mound for CUC, Dax Meyer, a junior transfer out of Lombard, Illinois. Meyer on the year, 5.79 ERA in 11 appearances as he fires strike one to Aguirre, who hit into a double play in his lone appearance so far this game, with pinch hit for Matt Miller in the 6th inning. And there's another strike from Meyer. Aguirre, Jiniga, and Fike are all guaranteed to hit. The 7, 8, 9 hitters. As there's a sharply hit ball into right field. It's going to land foul. Cougars catch a break with that one.
Very close to being in play.
So post-game interview. One and two count. Dax Meyer facing Cole Aguirre for his first batter today and misses with that one. 2 and 2 now. As the next offering, that one misses as well. Full count now on the CUW left fielder. And that'll be a walk to Aguirre. So with a runner on first, that'll bring up Josh Jiniga.
Second baseman, number 7, Josh Ajiniga.
Jiniga 0 for 3 from the plate today. See how he responds right here to a new pitcher. Fourth pitcher we've seen today from that Cougars bullpen.
The first pitch is outside. Meyer relieving Chandler Kerr from last inning. Kerr, 1 inning pitched. No hits, no runs, 2 walks issued, but able to overcome those issues to leave the outing scoreless and turn the ball over to Meyer, who fires a strike to Ajiniga. Dylan Fike on deck. He's guaranteed to hit, and then it will be back to the top of the lineup if things lead to that. With Johannes Hawkinson in the hole. This one is foul. So 1 and 2 now on Ajiniga. And the next offering. And this one is going to stay fair this time, just to the left of the first baseline. Oh, and they think they got the tag at second. Patrick Weber calls Ajiniga safe.
Thought that might have been a tag out by Sandoval. Appears he didn't get it in time.
So it'll be a double for Ajiniga. That's going to put 2 runners in scoring position with no outs. And it'll be a pinch hitter now with number 19, Brandon Needfelt.
Your attention, please. Batting for the catcher, Fike, number 19, Brandon Needfelt.
Needfelt pinch hitting for Fike, trying to get something going for his offense as he looks at ball 1 for Meyer. Needfelt looks at ball 2 there. A senior out of Roscoe, Illinois. Needfelt hitting .360 in 9 games played this year. As there's the first strike of the at-bat.
Meyer hasn't thrown a whole lot of strikes so far. He's had a couple off-speed pitches that have been out of that box. Nice pitch right there, though, from Meyer.
And there's one on the ground. Jacob scoops up. He'll just throw to first for one, as coming home is Cole Aguirre for the first run of the day for CUW. So, Needfelt grounds out, still gets himself the RBI. And with runners in the corners, it'll bring up Johannes Hawkinson. Hawkinson having himself a rough day in the leadoff spot, 0 for 4 with a pair of strikeouts. Has also hit into a double play. So he looks at that pitch for a strike. At third is Ajiniga. That one misses for ball one. On deck, Danny Hahn, who should hit unless the Cougars somehow able to pull a double play off here. Unlikely, with the only base runner being on third, as Myers fires a ball there. Hawkinson makes contact with that one, fouls it for strike two.
Seen Myers making his 12th appearance here today. Usually come in as a relief pitcher. We'll see how he fares here.
Strike
at the top
three
of the ninth.
called. Hawkinson goes down looking, and the Falcons are down to their last out of the day. Danny Hahn has to reach safely to prolong the inning, as the Falcons need 6 runs here and with just 1 out to play with.
Nice defensive stand by the Cougars to get the 2 outs. We're going to rely heavily on Meyer as they're looking to get that 3rd and final out.
There's a strike thrown, 1-1 now. Ball 2 thrown. And there's a high pop fly. This could do it. Gary Maynard gets under it for out number 3, and the Cougars pull off the win against CUW. A double-header sweep that was split up by over 2 weeks due to some weather issues when these teams were originally supposed to face off. And the Cougars, they pick up a much-needed win in the NAC standings. And Parker, even though the offense puts up a respectable 7 runs, the story of the game is going to be that pitching.
Absolutely, and this is a Cougars team who has really struggled from their bullpen. So far as a team, they've allowed a 7.87 ERA, which ranks 13th in the NAC. But the Cougars got off to a great start with McLaughlin pitching, 7 strikeouts. And this is a team that is really built on offense, but really, like you mentioned, the story of the game was the pitching and the defensive effort.
So the Cougars, they will improve to 8-10 in NAC play. That puts them 1 win below Rockford, who they will take on in a doubleheader tomorrow. We'll get those times for you in a minute. Cougars also now just 2 wins below IIT for that final spot in the NAC tournament, as they are doing their best in this late season, postseason push. They get a much-needed win against the rival Concordia here in River Forest, 7-1. Wyatt McLaughlin will walk away with the win. Like Parker said, 7 strikeouts over his 6 innings of work, 3 hits, no runs allowed, 6 walks over 110 innings. Meanwhile, picking up the loss is Tyler Bartzak, 3 innings pitched, 5 hits, 4 runs, all of which were earned, 2 walks, and 4 strikeouts over 60 pitches. So Cougars walk away, 7-1 win over the Falcons. Win number 40 all-time against CUW as they take down the number 3 team in the NAC. The Cougars will be back in action tomorrow against Rockford, a 12 p.m. and 3 p.m. start time. I want to say one more thanks for everyone making this production possible. Katie Schrem, Sydney Lloyd working production under the direction of Sydney Plasky-Slaher and Kale McLeod. Parker Kelly's been my partner for the day, but don't go anywhere just yet. Post-game interview coming up in just a minute, so stick around here on the Cougar Sports Network. Once again, Cougars take down the Falcons 7-1. What's going on, Cougar fans? Peter Borkowski back here on the Cougar Sports Network, and I'm joined by Cougars left fielder Tyler Dorsch. Tyler, congrats on the 7-1 win over the Falcons. You had a nice day at the plate, a good day with the eye as well. 3 walks drawn, and something I mentioned on the broadcast to Parker is just all the ways this Cougars team can get on base. You guys, you have those situational hitting. You have those big hits, you know, the extra base hits, and you guys draw a lot of walks as well. I mean, is that the offensive game plan? You guys talk about that you're going to score no matter what way you guys score. It's not just one way or another.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for having me, Peter. And, yeah, that's our approach at the plate. Kind of just get your pitch and hit it. And we try not to be too selective. Try to hit fastballs when we see them, but they got to find the zone first. So.
Right. And what a day it was from your pitchers, too. Wyatt McLaughlin, 6 innings pitched, no runs allowed. Mike Tobin, Chandler Curra, and Dax Meyer finish it off. And, I mean, how would that feel as, you know, a member of that defense going out there and seeing just dominant pitching from your guys on the mound?
Felt great. Pitchers did great today. Everyone did their job. Everyone threw strikes. That's what we needed. It was a great team win.
And it was a big win overall, picking up your second win over CUW on the year. And it's a big time of the year as well. Last week of regular season play. You guys need a couple big wins here if you want to make that postseason push. So, I mean, what's the feeling in the clubhouse right now? Maybe you can give us that kind of point of view, that knowing this is your last week of regular season play, you need these wins. Just how are the guys feeling in that dugout?
We feel great right now. We're ready to go on a stretch and shock some teams right now.
Right.
Yep.
Well, the Cougars will be back at it tomorrow against Rockford right here at the Thunderdome. Those games will be at 12 and 3 p.m. Coverage can be found on our website, CUCougars.com. The live stream on our YouTube page, CUC Sports. Tyler, thanks for joining me today. Good game today, and good luck the rest of the week.
Thank you for having me.
But that'll do it for this presentation of the Cougar Sports Network. Cougars take down the Falcons 7-1 here in River Forest. This is Peter Borkowski signing off and saying, as always, go Cougars.